Good morning. Welcome to Truth Be Told. This is Don B. We have a couple disturbing reports I'd like to share with you. Before we move on to that, please remember to subscribe. Over 90% of the people who watch me are not subscribers. I don't do this for the money. It's all about getting that information out, spreading the word, and waking up the people. At any rate, without ado, let's move to it. Says Biden administration to send the Taliban millions in U.S. dollars after arming them with $83 billion in U.S. military weapons. Taliban fighters in U.S. military uniforms. Yeah, this is just great, isn't it? Joe Biden supplied the Taliban terrorist organization and their Islamist accomplices with several years' worth of U.S. armaments. Rather than destroying the equipment before leaving the country, Flashbang decided to leave the nearly $85 billion worth of U.S. military equipment to the Taliban. As the Gateway pundit reported on Sunday, Flashbang left 300 times more guns than those passed to the Mexican cartels in Obama's Fast and Furious program. The more complete list was created with public information and help from other intelligence sources. The list does not include all the extra kinds of non-lethal equipment, everything from MREs, medical equipment, and even energy drinks. The big story might be the pallets of cash. The Taliban have been posting videos of pallets of weapons and attacks of $100 bills they have seized. Great! Let's give this a quick play. There it is. Isn't that great news? Your taxpayer dollars hard at work. And then it gives a list of the supplies and list of all the stuff that was left, which I've shared already. Much of the information included in the above list is public record, but that's not enough. Now the Flashbang's regime is going to send the Taliban terrorists millions in humanitarian aid. Yeah. It really is as if we lost the war and now we're paying reparations to the terrorists. You just can't make this stuff up, Newsmax reported. U.S. has agreed to provide humanitarian aid to a desperately poor Afghanistan on the brink of economic disaster while refusing to give political recognition to the country's new Taliban rulers, the Taliban said Sunday. The statement came at the end of the first direct talks between the former foes since the chaotic withdrawal of U.S. troops at the end of August. There was no immediate comment from the U.S. on the weekend meeting. The Taliban said the talks held in Doha, Qatar, went well with Washington, bringing up humanitarian aid to Afghanistan after agreeing not to link such assistance to formal recognition of the Taliban. Guys, these people, it's just beyond insane. You know, we still got all these Americans over there that they're refusing to allow to fly out of there, and we're sending them pallets of cash. Let's see, who did that to? Wasn't it Obama? Sent it to Iran, another terrorist organization. Oh boy. All right, moving on the red state. It's falling apart. Democrats are already finger pointing at each other over upcoming midterm losses. Democrats are on a high-speed rail headed straight to disaster in the upcoming midterms, and they know it. They know it so well that they're already casting blame on fellow members of their own party. According to The Hill, the 2022 midterm elections are increasingly looking like a massive GOP victory, and as the midterms approach, the divide within the Demon Rat Party becomes increasingly more visible. The difference between more and more moderate Democrats and the growing extremism within the party's more radical leftists is apparent, and they've begun pointing fingers at each other over a loss that hasn't even happened yet. For instance, part of the issue is the hard left holding up the infrastructure bill, something that moderate Democrats see as a surefire way to make centrist constituents angry while suffering zero blowback, thanks to the safety of the hard left Democrats' solidly blue districts. The radicals want the social spending package before anything else happens and are holding the infrastructure bill hostage until it's passed. It's very risky to have to go back to your district and tell people that you voted no on $1.2 trillion of infrastructure funding, said Representative Vicente Gonzalez, a Blue Dog Democrat. The Hill reported the radicals see it differently. Then it says progressives take a completely different view. They see themselves as fighting for Biden's agenda and argue the party's liberal base will have no reason to come out and support liberal and centrist Democrats alike unless lawmakers can enact real change at a time when they hold the White House and both chambers of Congress. In other words, they see a moment to shove through extreme agenda items in the short time they have, making it clear that even they know they don't have much longer before the Demon Rats' time in power goes belly up. Minnesota resident extremist Ilhan Omar summed up the radicals' position. In action, let's go. In action, trying to kill your party's agenda is insanity. Losing the majority in the House and the Senate is insanity, said Representative Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, one of the leaders of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Progressive, I mean far left. Bing saying is trying to do everything you can to get it to the table, negotiate in good faith, not break deals, and deliver on behalf of the American people on the promises that we make. Yeah. The frustration over this from moderates was put well by Virginia Representative Abigail Spanberger. We are now arbitrarily waiting until some point in the future for the Congress of another bill that is outside of physical infrastructure to pass. And so now these bills are tied together. There had been talks of dual tracks meaning two. Now they're, I guess, on the same exact train car, said Spanberger. Both sides of the Demon Rat Civil War are living under some sort of delusion. The moderate Democrats won't be saved by the passage of the infrastructure bill, and the radicals won't get their social spending package with moderate Democrats in the Senate like West Virginia's Joe Manchin and Arizona's Kristen Sinema holding back the worst of the left's attempts. The biggest problem isn't any of the unpassed bills, but their increasingly unpopular leader, the former Vice President Joe Biden. His continuously failing polling numbers are spelling doom for the party that supports him, with failures mounting up from the economy to Afghanistan to the border, and now the attacks on parents from his own DOJ over radicalized education practices in school. Flashbangs likely doomed himself and his entire party along with him. No matter how hard they try to bail water, the Democrat ship will sink. Well, unless they fix 2020. Can't really say anything about that because it's going to be on YouTube. All right, moving on to Breitbart. It says the Taiwan president, our people will not bow to pressure from communist China. Amid unprecedented aggression from communist China, Taiwan's President Xi Jinping said the country will not bow down to pressure amid calls for reunification. During the speech honoring the country's founding on Sunday, Tsai pictured, that's her, called for maintaining the status quo with China. Our position on cross-strait relationship remains the same. Neither our goodwill nor our commitments will change, she said. We call for maintaining the status quo, and we will do our utmost to prevent the status quo from being unilaterally altered. Though Tsai expressed hope for an easing of relations with China, she vowed that the Taiwanese people will bow to pressure. We will continue to bolster out national defense and demonstrate our determination to defend ourselves in order to ensure that nobody can force Taiwan to take the path China has laid out for us, she said. This is because the path that China has laid out offers neither a free and democratic way of life for Taiwan nor sovereignty for our 23 million people. The president made her forceful declaration just one day after Chinese President Xi Jinping called for national reunification with Taiwan, which has been a sovereign nation for over 70 years, ever since the Chinese Communist Party took control of the mainland while the nationalist government fled to the tiny island. National reunification by peaceful means best serves the interest of Chinese nation as a whole, including our compatriots in Taiwan, said Xi. Those who forget their heritage, betray their motherland, and seek to split the country will come to no good end. They will be disdained by the people and condemned by history, he added. President Tsai Ing-wen marketed the celebration with a rare show of country's military force, the fighter jets roaring across the skies above the presidential office and truck-mounted side missile launchers, among other weaponry, passed in front of the stage where she sat, according to Reuters. Taiwan's show of military might occurred less than a week after the communist country sent a record of almost 150 aircraft into Taiwan's air defense zone. Well, guys, as you can see, there's a lot going on in the background. The left is eating each other up like rabid dogs on a steak. Oh, well, remember, if you've heard of Kat Kerr or Hank Kuhneman or Amanda Grace or Donna Rigby and Timothy Dixon, they're all singing in one accord. God's working hard in the background, take down what's always been in the dark and move it into the light. So don't be shocked when you see all this stuff eke out bit by bit by bit, drip, drip, drip. But eventually it's going to all come to a head. And when it does, be prepared. Make sure you have plenty of food. Make sure you have plenty of water, enough to last, a few weeks for the 10 days of darkness that they're saying is going to happen, allegedly. Make sure you have your vehicles gassed up. And if you have generators, you have gas for them. Hope everybody has a happy Monday. This is Don V broadcasting out of windy skies up here in Arizona. Looks like it's going to be another beautiful day in the 60s, maybe early 70s. Everybody take care, and we are out of here.